The Zarkonian ship hovered above Earth like a dark shadow. The crew laughed as they prepared their prank. Princess Vala sat alone in the transport pod. Her purple skin glowed under the dim lights. Her silver eyes showed her anger. How dare they do this to her? She was royal. She was the daughter of Emperor Zorkon, and now they were sending her to a primitive planet as a gift to a human commander. Tekla smiled as she checked the pod systems one last time. Vala was always too soft, too interested. In these humans, it was time she learned her place. Your father approves this mission, Tekla said. Your sympathy for these creatures has gone too far. You will learn what they truly are. Vala looked away. The humans were not what her people thought. They were young as a species, yes, but they had potential. They had heart. Something the Zarkonians had lost long ago. The pod is ready. Commander Tekla turned to the crew members of the High Council. This gift to the humans will serve two purposes. First, it will humiliate our troublesome princess. Second, it will give us valuable data on human behavior. We will observe everything. The human will not know. We are watching. The council members nodded in agreement. They had tired of Vala's constant defense of Earth in their meetings about future expansion. The Empire needed new worlds and Earth was perfect, but Vala kept arguing against invasion. Prepare for launch. Tekla commanded on Earth. Kate Miller worked alone in her research station deep in the Howe, Alaska wilderness. She studied strange signals from space. The scientific community thought she was wasting her time. But Kate knew something was out there. Something or someone was sending patterns that were not natural. Kate poured another cup of coffee and looked at her computer screen. The signal was getting stronger. Whatever was sending it was getting closer. She adjusted her equipment, trying to get a clearer reading. Outside, the wind howled across the snowy landscape. The research station was small but comfortable. Kate had everything she needed here. Food supplies for 6 months, advanced computers, satellite links to the outside world, and most important, complete privacy for her work. The alarm on her system suddenly blared. Kate jumped up. Something was entering Earth's atmosphere directly above her location. She grabbed her coat and stepped outside into the freezing night. The sky lit up with a bright light. A small object fell, leaving a trail of fire behind it. Kate watched as it crashed about half a mile from her station. She grabbed her emergency pack and began walking through the deep snow. The object was not a meteor. It was too small, too controlled in its descent. When Kate reached the crash site, her scientific mind struggled to process what she was seeing. A metal pod about the size of a small car was half buried in snow. The design was like nothing she had ever seen. No country on Earth had technology like this. The pod door opened with a hiss. Steam poured out into the cold air. Kate stepped back, her heart racing. Then she saw her. A figure stepped out. Tall, elegant, clearly not human. Purple skin, silver eyes, long fingers with an extra joint, wearing clothes made from material that seemed to flow like liquid. Kate froze. Unable to move, unable to speak. The alien looked directly at her. You are the human, Kate Miller. The alien's voice came through a small device on her wrist. The words sounded mechanical, but clear. How do you know my name? Kate finally managed to ask. The alien stepped closer. I am Princess Vala of the Zarkonian Empire. I have been given to you, given to me. Kate shook her head in confusion. What does that mean? I am a gift? The alien said, my people think humans are primitive. They think giving me to you will shame me and provide them entertainment. Kate felt anger rising inside her. You were sent here against your will. The alien nodded slightly. Kate made a decision right there. She would not contact authorities. She would not tell anyone about this visitor, at least not yet. She needed to understand what was happening first. Come with me, Kate said. It's freezing out here. We need to get you inside. Vala followed Kate through the snow to the research station. The alien princess moved with grace despite the difficult terrain. Once inside, Kate quickly closed the door and turned up the heat. She watched as Vala looked around the station with curiosity. The Zarkonian ship in orbit activated its cloaking technology. Now they would watch and wait. Cameras in Vala's clothing would send everything back to them. They expected to see the human treat their princess like an animal. They expected to laugh at her suffering. But something unexpected happened. Kate offered Vala food, a place to sit warm, clothes. She spoke to the alien not as a curiosity, but as a person, a visitor who needed help. "Why are you helping me?" Vala asked her translator device, making her voice sound flat. "Because it's the right thing to do," Kate replied. "And because I have a million questions for you." In the ship above, Commander Tekla frowned as she watched the first interactions. This was not what they expected. This human was not behaving like the primitive creature they believed humans to be. "This changes nothing," Tekla told the council. "We will continue to observe. The human will show her true nature." Soon enough, days passed. Vala told Kate about the Zarkonian Empire, about their technology, their society, their plans. Kate listened with growing concern. The Zarkonians saw Earth as a future colony. They believed humans were barely intelligent animals not worth considering as equals. "I tried to tell them they were wrong about humans," Vala explained. "That is partly why I was sent here. As punishment. Can they hear us?" Now Kate asked. Vala nodded. "My clothing has monitoring devices." Kate thought for a moment, then wrote on a piece of paper, "Can they be removed?" Vala read the note and nodded again. That night, Kate helped Vala remove the tiny cameras and listening devices. From her clothing, they placed them in the main room of the station where they would continue to transmit normal daily activities. But Vala and Kate could now speak freely in the small back room. "They think I am sleeping now," Vala said. "This room should be safe." Kate sat across from the alien princess. "So your people are watching us?" "Why, to be entertained," Vala replied. "They expect you to mistreat me. They want to see me suffer to prove they are right about humans." "Well," Kate smiled, "we're going to prove them wrong." Weeks passed. Kate and Vala developed a routine. They kept up appearances for the cameras in the main room. But in their private talks, they learned about each other. Vala was fascinated by human emotions, by the way Kate expressed herself. Kate was amazed by Zarkonian technology and culture. Vala learned English quickly. Her mind worked differently than a human's, able to absorb information at an incredible rate. Kate taught her about Earth history, art, music, literature. Vala soaked it all up with wonder. "My people believe your species is primitive," Vala said one night as they sat in their safe room. "But your art, your music, they show something my people have forgotten." "What is that?" Kate asked Soul. Vala replied, "We have advanced technology. We have conquered space. But we have lost something along the way. Something you humans have in abundance on the ship." Commander Tekla was becoming frustrated. The human and the princess seemed to be getting along. They spent their days in normal activities, eating, talking, watching entertainment screens, working on the humans' research. The council members were losing interest in the experiment. This was not the humiliation they had hoped for. "Perhaps we should retrieve her now," one council member suggested. "This experiment is failing." No, Tekla insisted, "We must be patient. The human will reveal her true nature. Eventually, the princess will beg to come home." 3 months after Vala's arrival, Kate decided it was time to introduce her to another human. Almanduriti contacted her old friend Lily Carter, a doctor who lived in the nearest town. Lily had been Kate's roommate in college. They trusted each other completely. When Lily arrived at the research station, Kate prepared her friend carefully before introducing Vala. Lily was shocked at first, but her scientific curiosity quickly took over. "This is amazing," Lily said, examining Vala with wonder. "Your biology must be so different from ours." Vala smiled at the human doctor's enthusiasm. "I have been studying your Medical books, your species is fascinating too. Lily became a regular visitor to the station. She brought medical equipment to study Vala with the princess' full permission. She also brought news from the outside world and more books for Vala to read. 3 women formed a friendship that crossed the boundaries of worlds. Lily kept their secret, understanding the danger if the wrong people found out about Vala. Kate, "Can I talk to you alone?" Lily asked during one visit. The 2 humans stepped into the safe room while Vala worked on translating a book of poetry. "Kate, she is incredible," Lily said. "But we need to think about the future. She can't stay hidden forever. What happens when her people come back for her?" Kate had been thinking about the same problem. They will come back in 1 year. That was their plan, to see how broken she would be, to laugh at her suffering. And what will happen then? Lily asked. "Vala wants to stay," Kate said quietly. "She doesn't want to go back. Can they force her?" "I don't know," Kate admitted. "She is royal. That might give her some choices, but I'm not sure. They need to see that humans are not what they think," Lily said. "They need to see we are worthy of respect." Kate nodded. "That gives me an idea." That night, Kate shared her thoughts with Vala. "What if we showed your people the best of humanity? Not just through me and Lily, but through others. Carefully chosen, trustworthy people." Vala considered this. "It is risky, but it might work. My father and the council need to see humans as you truly are, not as they imagine you to be." They made a plan. Kate would bring selected visitors to meet Vala, people who represented the best of humanity. Scientists, artists, thinkers. Each one sworn to secrecy. Each one carefully prepared. On the ship, Commander Tekla noticed the change. More humans were visiting the research station. This was unexpected and concerning. She reported to the council. "The princess is being exposed to more humans." The commander said, "We cannot tell what they are discussing. Some of their interactions occur in a room without monitoring." The council leader frowned. "This is troubling. The experiment is not proceeding as we expected. Increase monitoring. Prepare a retrieval team in case we need to extract the princess early." 6 months passed. Vala had now met 12 humans. Each one had shared their knowledge, their perspectives, their humanity with her. She learned about medicine from Lily, about music from Paul, a composer, about philosophy from Nina, a professor. Each human showed her kindness. Respect, interest. Kate and Vala grew closer. Each day they shared meals, stories. Laughter. Vala taught Kate about the stars, about worlds. Kate had never imagined. Kate taught Vala about the simple joys of being human, making cookies, watching the snow fall, dancing to music. One evening, as they watched the northern lights dance across the sky, Vala turned to Kate. "My people will return in 6 more months. They expect me to beg to go home. They expect me to be broken. What will you do?" Kate asked. "I will stay." Vala said simply, "I have found something here I never had at home. Freedom to be myself. People who see me not just as a princess, but as a person." "But will they let you stay?" Vala looked troubled. "I don't know. By royal law, they cannot force me to return if I have established a permanent bond with Earth." "What kind of bond?" "There are 3 bonds that cannot be broken in our culture," Vala explained. "Marriage, a blood oath of fealty, or what?" "The bond between parent and child." Kate looked at Vala with surprise. "You want to have a child who would be half human, half Zarkonian?" Vala said, "Such a child would be protected by both universal and Zarkonian law. They could not separate us. The child would be proof that our species can coexist, that humans are worthy of respect, not conquest." Kate thought about what Vala was suggesting. The implications were enormous. How would this even work? Kate asked. "Biologically, I mean, our species are compatible." Vala explained. "We have studied humans for centuries. We know it is possible. And you want to do this. To have a child just to stay on Earth." "Not just for that," Vala said. "I want to create a bridge between our worlds. A child who would belong to both species, who would help my people understand yours, a child who would change everything, and who would be the father. Kate asked. Vala looked away. I have been thinking about this. I have met several human males now, Paul or maybe Sam. They were kind, intelligent. Kate shook her head. This isn't how we do things on Earth. A child should be born from love, not political necessity. Then how is it done? Vala asked. Kate smiled. You fall in love first. The child comes later, in the ship above Earth. Commander Tekla received troubling reports. The princess seemed happy among the humans. She was learning their ways, adopting their customs. The council members were divided. Some wanted to retrieve her immediately. Others were curious about how the experiment would end. Let it continue, the council. Leader finally decided, but prepare for extraction. We will not let her stay among these creatures forever. 1 year as planned, then we bring her home. 7 months after Vala's arrival, a new visitor came to the research station. Adam Harris was a botanist studying plant adaptation in extreme environments. Kate had met him at a conference years ago and trusted his calm, thoughtful nature. When Kate revealed the truth about Vala, Adam showed no fear, only wonder. He reminded Vala of the scholars on her world. Curious, seeking knowledge, always asking questions. Vala found herself drawn to Adam. His quiet strength, his gentle way with plants, his patient explanations of Earth ecology. She watched him work, collecting samples, examining leaves under microscopes. She listened as he talked about the resilience of life. The feeling was unexpected. Vala had never experienced such emotions. Her people arranged marriages for political advantage. Love was considered a weakness, a primitive emotion. But here on Earth, surrounded by humans who embraced their feelings, Vala found herself changing. Adam visited the station regularly, bringing plants for Vala to see, showing her the incredible diversity of Earth life. They took walks together in the snow-protected area around the station, Vala wearing disguises created by Lily to hide her alien features. Do you miss your home? Adam asked during one of their walks. Vala thought about the crystal towers of her world, the 3 moons that lit the night sky, the familiar foods and customs. But then she thought about the rigid rules, the political games, the coldness of her father. I miss certain things, she admitted, but not as much as I expected. I have found something here that I never had there. What is that freedom? Adam, freedom to ask questions, to make my own choices, to feel. Adam smiled, understanding. You know, on Earth we believe that is the birthright of all intelligent beings. Freedom. My people would disagree, Vala said. They believe order, control, these are more important than individual freedom. Maybe both are needed. Adam suggested balanced structure with choice. Rules with compassion. Vala looked at him with new eyes. This human understood something her people had forgotten. Balance in the ship above Earth. Commander Tekla watched the interaction between the princess and this new human with growing concern. She did not like the way Vala looked at him, the way she listened to him. This was not part of the plan. The princess appears to be forming an attachment to one of the humans, Tekla reported to the council. This male human visits often. They spend many hours together. The council leader frowned. This is unexpected. Monitor closely. If she becomes too attached, we may need to intervene. As winter turned to spring, Vala and Adam grew closer. He taught her about earth plants. She told him about the gardens on her world, worlds with plants that sang, with the windflowers that glowed in the dark. He brought her seeds to plant in small pots inside the research station. Together they nurtured them, watching them grow. One evening, as they tended the plants, Vala found the courage to ask the question that had been on her mind. Adam, what do humans look for in a mate? Adam looked up, surprised at the question, then thoughtful. It depends on the person, I suppose. Some look for physical attraction, some for intelligence, compatibility of goals and values, someone who makes them laugh, someone who makes them feel safe enough to be themselves. And what do you look for? Adam was quiet for a moment. Kindness. He finally said, someone who sees the world with wonder, someone who challenges me to be better, someone Who feels like home? Vala felt her heart beat faster. Kate watched the relationship develop between her alien friend and the botanist. She saw the way they looked at each other, the way they found excuses to be near one another. She recognized what was happening even before they did. Love across the stars. I think you found your answer, Kate told Vala one night after Adam had left. What do you mean about how humans choose mates? About falling in love? First, Vala looked away, her purple skin darkening in what Kate had come to recognize as a blush. He is kind and wise, but would he ever see me as more than a curiosity? An alien being so different from himself? Kate smiled. Trust me. I see how he looks at you. Difference doesn't matter as much as you think. The next day, Adam brought Vala a special gift, a small plant with blue leaves and tiny silver flowers. This reminded me of you, he said. It doesn't belong in this environment, but it adapts. It finds a way to thrive. It creates beauty where none was expected. Their hands touched as she took the pot. Their eyes met. Vala felt something shift between them. Something new and wonderful and terrifying. Later that night, alone in her room, Vala thought about her plan to stay on Earth. The bond she had. Considered creating the child she had thought to have as a bridge between worlds. She had been thinking of it as strategy. A political move. A way to force her people to respect humans. Now everything felt different. She still wanted to stay. She still believed in creating understanding between their species. But her reasons were changing. It was no longer just about politics. It was about belonging. About finding her place in the universe. On the ship, Commander Tekla watched with growing alarm. The princess spent more and more time with the human male. Their interactions showed signs of emotional attachment. This could not be allowed. A royal Zarkonian forming a pair bond with a primitive species. It would be a scandal. It would undermine everything. The Empire stood for. Tekla called an emergency meeting of the council. We must extract her now before this goes further. The experiment has gone too far. The council was divided. Some agreed with Tekla. Others were fascinated by the unexpected turn of events. Let us see where this leads, one council member suggested. We have never observed such interaction between our species and theirs. It is an abomination. Tekla argued, it is data. Another countered. The council leader made the final decision. Now will continue as planned. 1 year as agreed. But increase monitoring. I want to know everything that happens between the princess and this human. 9 months after her arrival, Vala made her decision. She would tell Adam everything. Not just about being an alien princess, he knew that already, but about her people's plans for Earth, about her original idea to have a child, to create a permanent bond, about her growing feelings for him. They sat together by the small lake near the research station now. Thawed in the spring warmth, Adam listened without interruption as Vala explained. So you see, she finished, I came here as a punishment. But I have found something I never expected. Adam was quiet for a long moment. I need to know. He finally said, is this still about strategy? About finding a way to stay? Is that why you have grown close to me? Vala shook her head. No. It began that way, I admit. But now everything has changed. I have changed. Earth has changed me. My feelings for you are real. Adam looked into her silver eyes, searching. I have feelings for you too. Though I never expected to fall in love with someone from another world. Fall in love. Vala repeated the words. Is that what this is? Adam smiled. Yes, I believe it is. That night they shared their first kiss. Under the stars of a planet that was not her own. Vala found home in Adam's arms. On the ship, Commander Tekla watched in horror. This could not be happening. A princess of the royal blood intimately involved with a human. It was unthinkable. Prepare for immediate extraction, Tekla ordered. We end this now. But the council leader overruled her. We agreed to 1 year. The experiment continues. But Your Excellence, This has gone beyond an experiment. The Princess is teaching us something unexpected. About humans, the leader said. Something we need to understand if we are to deal with this species in the future. 10 months after Vala's arrival, Adam moved into the research station. The relationship between the human botanist and the alien princess deepened. Kate gave them space while remaining a supportive friend. Lily continued her visits bringing supplies. And friendship Vala and Adam spent their days working side by side. He continued his research on Arctic plants. She helped translating her knowledge of alien botany into terms he could understand. Their nights were filled with conversations about the future, about possibilities, about dreams. We have only 2 months left. Vala said one evening before my people return for me. Adam took her hand. What will happen then? I will refuse to go, Vala said. But I am not sure they will accept that. My father, the Emperor, has never been denied anything. What can we do? Vala had been thinking about this problem. Their options were limited. Her people had technology far beyond Earth's. They could take her by force if they chose. There is one way, she said carefully. The bond I told you about between parent and child, it would still protect me. My people have laws even my father cannot break. Adam was quiet for a moment. You want to have a child? Our child? Vala said softly. If you want that too. Adam looked into her, silver eyes. A child. Half human. Half Zarkonian. A bridge between our worlds, Vala said. Not just a strategy anymore, but a symbol of hope, of what is possible when different species choose understanding over fear. Adam thought about the implications. A child would change everything, not just for them, but potentially for both their species. This is a big decision, he said. We should not rush it. We don't have much time. Vala reminded him. Time isn't the issue. Adam said, the question is, do we want this? A child should be born from love. Not necessity. Vala touched his face gently. I love you, Adam Harris, human botanist. I never expected to say those words to anyone, let alone someone from another world. But I do. I love your kindness, your curiosity, your gentle strength. Adam smiled. I love you too. Vala, Princess of the Stars, I love your courage, your wonder, your heart. And yes, I want a future with you, whatever form that takes. That night they made their decision together. The next morning they shared their plans with Kate and Lily. Their friends were supportive but concerned. This won't be easy, Kate warned. Your peoples will both have questions, objections, fears. We know, Vala said, but nothing worth doing is ever easy. Lily, the doctor, had practical concerns. Is it really possible, biologically, I mean? Vala nodded. My people have studied humans for centuries. We know our species are compatible. It's rare but not impossible. Well, then, Lily smiled. As your doctor, I should run some tests, make sure everything is healthy on the ship. Commander Tekla received the reports with growing horror. The princess and the human were planning to reproduce to create a hybrid child. This was beyond unacceptable. It was an abomination. We must stop this immediately. Tekla demanded, addressing the full council. A royal bloodline mixed with a primitive species. It cannot be allowed. The council was in turmoil. Some members agreed with Tekla. Others were fascinated by the scientific possibilities. Still others were concerned about the legal implications by our own laws, one council member pointed out. A royal who produces offspring with another species creates a protected bond. We cannot interfere. Those laws were never meant to apply to primitive species like humans. Tekla argued. The law makes no such distinction, another council member countered. The debate raged, but in the end the council leader made the decision. We will continue to observe for now, but prepare a delegation. The Emperor must be informed of his daughters' actions on Earth. Vala and Adam prepared for their future. Lily confirmed that conception was possible, though not certain. The process would be complex, requiring careful monitoring. But it could work. 11 months after Vala's arrival, she missed her. Monthly cycle. Lily ran the test, confirming what they had hoped for. Vala was pregnant. The child growing inside her was the first of its kind, half human, half Zarkonian. A new beginning. The news reached the Zarkonian ship. Commander Tekla was livid. The princess had succeeded in her plan. She had created a permanent bond with Earth, a bond protected by the Empire's most sacred laws. This changes everything. The council leader said. The Emperor must be consulted. Message was sent to the Zarkonian, homeworld traveling faster than light but still requiring time to reach the Emperor and for his response to return. They would have to wait. Meanwhile on Earth, Vala, Adam, Kate, and Lily prepared for the arrival of the Zarkonian delegation. They knew the confrontation would not be easy. Vala's people would be angry, confused, perhaps even violent, but they had law on their side, and they had something else. Something the Zarkonians did not expect. They had allies. Over the months, Vala had met many humans, each one sworn to secrecy, each one now committed to protecting her and her unborn child. Scientists, doctors, artists, teachers, ordinary people who had come to know the alien princess and see her not as a curiosity but as a person, a friend they formed, a network ready to help if needed, a human response to an alien threat. Not with weapons but with solidarity, with the simple power of people standing together as her pregnancy progressed. Vala felt changes in her body, the new life growing inside. Her filled her with wonder and fear. What would this child look like? How would it develop? What challenges would it face in a world not fully human, not fully Zarkonian? Adam stayed by her side, his love unwavering, his commitment to their future absolute. He talked to the baby every night, telling stories of Earth, of plants and animals, of human history and hopes. Kate expanded the research station, preparing a nursery, painting walls, setting up equipment. Lily monitored the pregnancy, closely documenting everything for future reference. This was medical history in the making. The first human-alien hybrid, 12 months after Vala's arrival, exactly 1 year since she had been sent to Earth as a prank. As a punishment, the Zarkonian ship descended from the clouds. It landed in the clearing near the research station, larger than before, more imposing. Vala stood waiting, her hand in Adam's. Kate and Lily beside them. Behind them, a group of trusted human friends formed a protective circle. The door of the ship opened, and Commander Tekla stepped out, followed by members of the High Council. Princess Vala. Tekla said formally, "Your year among the humans is complete. It is time to return home." Vala stood tall, proud. "I will not be returning," she said. "This is my home now." Tekla frowned. "This primitive planet, these primitive people, you cannot be serious." Vala placed a hand on her stomach where her child grew. "I am perfectly serious, Commander. As you can see, I have created a permanent bond with Earth. Bond protected by royal law," the council members murmured among themselves. This was unprecedented. A royal having a child with a species considered barely sentient by their standards. "Your father, the Emperor, has been informed." Tekla said. "He is not pleased, I imagine." "Not," Vala said. "But even he cannot break this bond. The law is clear." One of the council members stepped forward. "Princess, we ask you to reconsider. This planet is not safe, not suitable for someone of your standing. These humans are not your equals." Adam stepped forward respectfully. "With all due respect, we may not have your technology, your history, but we are not what you think. We feel, we create, we love, we hope. Just like you." The council member looked at Adam with surprise, clearly not expecting such eloquence from a human. Vala squeezed Adam's hand. "This is the father of my child, my chosen mate, a botanist, a man of science and heart. He represents the best of humanity, and he is most certainly my equal, Commander." Tekla looked disgusted, but the council members seemed less certain. Their preconceptions about humans were being challenged by what they witnessed. "It seems we have much to reconsider." One council member finally said, "The law is indeed clear. Princess Vala has established a bond that cannot be broken. Even by imperial decree." Tekla started to object, but the council member silenced her with a gesture. "We will return to the ship and consider our next steps. This situation requires careful thought. The Zarkonian delegation remained on Earth for 2 weeks. During that time, they observed Vala and her human companions closely. They saw how the humans treated her with respect as an equal. They witnessed the genuine love between Vala and Adam. They noticed how Kate and Lily and the others protected her, cared for her. Most surprising to the Zarkonians was how the humans treated them. The delegation had expected fear or hostility. Instead, they found curiosity, openness, even hospitality. Kate invited them into the research station. Adam showed them his botanical work. Lily explained human medicine. Council member Zeth, the oldest of the delegation, found himself fascinated by these creatures. They were young as a species, yes, but they had an energy, a creativity, a warmth that the Zarkonians had lost over their millennia of advanced civilization. Perhaps we have been hasty in our judgment of humans, Zeth said to his fellow council members. They are not what we thought. Commander Tekla remained. Unconvinced, they put on a show for us, she insisted. This is not how all humans behave. Perhaps not, Zeth agreed. But the same could be said of our people. Not all Zarkonians are the same. Why would all humans be? The council debated long into the night. Their decision would affect not just Vala and her child, but potentially relations between their species for generations to come. Meanwhile, Vala continued to prepare for the birth of her child. Now, in her 4th month of pregnancy, she experienced the strange sensations of the new life growing inside her. The child developed faster than a human baby, but slower than a Zarkonian one. Another sign of its unique nature. Lily conducted regular examinations using both human medical equipment and devices provided reluctantly by the Zarkonian medical officer. The baby appeared healthy, its development proceeding normally, despite its mixed heritage. One evening, council member Zeth requested a private conversation with Vala. They walked in the garden Adam had planted around the research station. The alien flowers he had cultivated reminded Vala of home. Your botanist has created something beautiful here, Zeth said. A piece of our world on Earth, Vala smiled. Adam understands balance, the harmony between different forms of life. Zeth nodded thoughtfully. Princess, I must ask you something, and I need your honest answer. Ask, Vala said. Are you truly happy here? Among these humans? On this primitive world? Vala looked at the research station where Adam and Kate were preparing dinner, where Lily was reviewing medical charts, where her friends gathered to support her. I am happier than I have ever been. She said simply, on our world, I was a princess treated with deference, but never truly seen. Here, I am just Vala. I am loved not for my title but for myself, and that is enough for you, to give up your heritage, your birthright, your future as empress. Vala placed a hand on her stomach. I am not giving up my heritage. I am creating a new one. My child will know both worlds, both cultures. The best of both. Zeth was silent for a moment. I will speak to the council. He finally said, I believe I understand now what you have found here. The next day, the council announced their decision. Princess Vala would be allowed to remain on Earth with her human mate and their child. However, certain conditions would apply. The Zarkonian Empire would establish a small, permanent presence on Earth. A diplomatic outpost disguised as a research facility. Vala would serve as ambassador between the species. The child, when born, would receive dual citizenship and protection. Most importantly, the plans for colonization would be suspended. Earth would be reclassified as a protected developing world off limits for exploitation. Commander Tekla was furious but powerless against the council's decision. She returned to the ship with most of the delegation, leaving behind council member Zeth and a small team to establish the outpost. The Zarkonians had come to Earth, expecting to laugh at their princess humiliation. Instead, they found themselves re-evaluating everything they thought they knew about humans. 6 months after the council's decision, 5 months after the delegation departed, Vala went into labor. The birth was difficult. Her body caught between Zarkonian and human biological processes. The child born after 18 hours was a boy, with purple-tinged skin and silver-flecked eyes. His tiny hands had the extra joint of his mother's people. But his smile was all his father's. They named him Leo after the stars that had brought his parents together. A constellation visible from both Earth and the Zarkonian homeworld. A bridge between worlds, as Vala held her son Adam by her side. Kate and Lily nearby. Council member Zeth observed with wonder. This child represented something unprecedented, a new beginning for both species, a future where differences could be strengths, not barriers. The news of Leo's birth traveled across space to the Zarkonian homeworld. Emperor Zorkon Vala's father received the images of his grandson with complex emotions. Pride at the continuation of his bloodline, confusion at the child's mixed heritage, curiosity about the species that had produced such a miracle. On his orders, the Zarkonian Scientific Council began a complete reassessment of human potential. The military plans for Earth were archived, replaced by proposals for limited cultural exchange, scientific cooperation, carefully managed contact 1 year after Leo's birth. The small family moved to a new home, a house built with both human and Zarkonian technology, nestled in the woods far from cities, but connected to both worlds. Adam continued his botanical research, now enhanced by Zarkonian knowledge. Vala served as ambassador, building understanding between the species. More Zarkonians came to Earth. Carefully selected, open-minded, curious. Not as conquerors, but as visitors, students, diplomats. They lived among humans, learning about this young species, their art, their music, their boundless creativity, their capacity for love. Humans chosen for their intelligence and adaptability visited the Zarkonian outpost, learning about the ancient species, their technology, their history, their philosophy, their need to remember what it meant to feel. Leo grew, learning both languages, both cultures, the first of his kind but not the last. Other relationships formed between the species. Other children were born. Each one unique, each one a miracle. 5 years after, Vala had been sent to Earth as a punishment, as a prank. Emperor Zorkon himself came to visit his daughter and grandson. He arrived without ceremony, without fanfare. Just an old man coming to meet his family. Vala waited nervously. Adam beside her, Leo. Between them, the little boy with purple-tinged skin and curious eyes looked up at the tall, imposing figure of his grandfather. The Emperor knelt down to the child's level. "Hello, Leo. I have come a long way to meet you." Leo smiled, unafraid. "I know, grandfather. Mother has told me about you. About the stars you rule." Zorkon looked at his daughter. She had changed. The royal princess was gone, replaced by a woman confident, comfortable in her own skin, happy in a way he had never seen her before. "You were right, Vala," he said softly. "Humans are not what we thought." Vala took Adam's hand. "Our mistake was thinking any species could be reduced to a single story. There is good and bad in all of us, Zarkonian, human, and everything in between." She looked down at Leo, who represented that truth. The Emperor stayed for a month. During that time, he played with his grandson, talked with his daughter, got to know his human son-in-law. He observed Earth culture with new eyes, seeing what Vala had seen, the potential, the heart. The future. When he left, he took with him a new understanding, and he left behind a gift, a small crystal that, when activated, projected the stars as seen from the Zarkonian homeworld, for Leo to always remember his heritage. 10 years after Vala had been sent to Earth as a gift, as a joke, the Zarkonian High Council officially recognized Earth as an equal sovereign world. The first trade agreements were signed. The first cultural exchanges began. The first joint scientific missions launched, and it all began with a prank, a cruel joke that backfired completely. They gave the alien princess to a human as a prank, and she chose to become a mother, not just of a child, but of a new understanding between worlds. Commander Tekla, who had planned the original mission, was eventually reassigned to a distant outpost. Her failure to humiliate the princess, her misjudgment of humans, cost her career, her standing. But even she had to admit, as she watched the developments from afar, sometimes the best jokes are the ones that don't go as planned. On Earth, Vala Adam and Leo lived their lives not as symbols, though they were that too, but as a family, a mother, a father, a child, finding their way together, one day at a time, proving with every moment that love could cross the stars. Kate eventually published her research on interstellar signals, carefully edited to protect certain secrets, but enough to advance human understanding of the cosmos. Lily documented the medical aspects of Zirconians and humans, creating a foundation for future cooperation. And Adam, he continued to grow his garden, the place where earth plants and alien flowers bloomed side by side, different but beautiful together, a living symbol of what was possible when fear gave way to wonder. When the universe opened not to conquest but to connection, at night Vala would often look up at the stars, remembering her homeworld, the life she had left behind. But she never regretted her choice. Earth, with all its flaws, its primitive technology, its beautiful chaos, had given her something her world never could: freedom to choose, freedom to love, freedom to become herself. They had given her as a gift to a human, expecting her to suffer. Instead, she had found joy. They had meant to humiliate her. Instead, they had given her the greatest gift of all, a chance to change everything for herself, for her people, for the future, all because of a prank that became a miracle.